Hey guys, Lyra Hart here, and I just want to say thank you guys for checking out today's podcast episode. It's been a minute. I'm just wild and I'm excited. It's a new year. I'm looking forward to new possibilities and things to create and look forward to and look into many things for the beyond. So with that being said, guys, today's episode I am talking about is exposure. It's episode 15. 15 holds dearly to me because I am the 15th child. Come from a family of 15 children, 9 girls, 6 boys. I am the last child. I'm the 15th child. So I just thought that would add that number 15 in there. But anyways, today I want to talk about exposure. I haven't been on here in a minute. I've been doing a lot of things. I've been working, doing the freelance, wrapping up a graphic novel. I'm in the process of that. And also I'm doing the teaching as well. So a lot of you guys know, and you guys can see on my social media handles, X, Instagram, Facebook, all that jam, everything Lyra Art. And that's just a plug, just to let you guys know what I've been up to. But I appreciate everyone that follows through. I need to get better at putting these up daily because I like doing these, and actually I got a lot of feedback that people are encouraged, so it means a lot. So I thank you, and I just think that this is something that in this episode, hopefully this would all entwine together. So with that being said, I just want to get into this. So talking about exposure, basically just getting your name and your art out there. Again, these work for me, and these are things that what you would use in your work, whether it be music or art or your name and everything like that, and so on and so on. First and foremost, wouldn't you like to know that you should be mindful about exposure? I'm going to work with somebody. I'm going to work with a company, and they're offering exposure. You need to have a little bit more in between your ears to understand that could you benefit from it. If you know right away you're not going to get paid for it, then chances are, and if you're not in a situation that requires that you can flip it and use it to your advantage, then don't do it. It's just common sense and recommend it. Don't do it. If you're going to go and promote people for exposure and they're not giving you the exposure back, then don't do it. But if you are a hustler, if you are turning a bowl of grapes into wine kind of person, I'm kind of using analogies from like these hustlers that I'm influenced by, that you could turn grapes into wine. If you have something that's dingy and messed up, but you could like wipe it down and polish it up and put it back out there. I'm talking to you guys. I'm talking to that. But if you are not expecting, but you're relying on social media to talk for you, I don't know if exposure and this are connected. So what I saw most recently was a contest, and this contest is just any kind of contest in general. If the prize out there says cash, heck yeah. Oh, actually, side note, when you guys see the picture of this podcast, you're going to see a parental advisory, explicit content. I normally don't curse, but this episode I might drop some words because it cracks me up to when I see this, and I can't believe how people just are dum-dums, knuckleheads. I still haven't cursed yet, but still. Back to the hand. I'm gonna be dropping maybe some bad words, but guys, use exposure wisely. Use it that how you should, pertain to your brand and your business. Like it or not, if you're creating something, you are the personal brand. If there's no legal document that you sign off of, you know, you should have that understanding that this is what the job is, this is what it's going to pertain, and go forward. If it doesn't, well, you're not going to get money on it, or even if they're not going to promote you. And there's times like that where a lot of people are in this situations. But if you are using exposure to the sense of, I'm not going to get paid, but what can I benefit from that, then you should know those type of things, especially when, you know, everybody wants to get paid. I want to get paid. And there's nothing around it that says that you should just stand still and let you be taken advantage of. The contest I saw was Todd McFarlane did this cover, and he's asking people to submit, and then you put the hashtag in there and you do this and that just put your style in there. Guys, if you guys don't know who Todd McFarlane is, guys, guy from, you know, this comic book illustrator. He has his own company, he has his own comic, does toys, worked for Marvel, co-created Venom, and of course his creator-owned character Spawn. A little bit of, in my background, I'm a 90s comic head. I got into comics around 90, 91, 92. Around those eras, I could tell you it was Death of Superman, Batman Broke His Back, and of course the Image boom, Youngblood, Spawn, Wildcats, Cyberforce, Shadowhawk, all those guys. Oh, and Savage Dragon, because I'm going to be mentioning Savage Dragon creator. Shout out to everybody. So this is not a diss towards the guy that's putting out the comic, Todd McFarlane. It's not a diss towards him. And then it's technically, I'm not dissing why I'm doing this in general. But it's weird that when people go ahead and not see what can benefit from this contest. So again, Todd put out this ad for his Spawn book that is coming up. And if he picks it, you get to have your work on his cover. That's all it said. I'm certain or uncertain that if you're not getting paid on that, this is his platform's quadruple of what you will do. Or if he uses a person in the biz, which I want to take a notice on that too. So we'll talk about those guys and gals as well too. That how would you use this to promote yourself? And I'm right now just talking to the people that are trying to break in, and you're trying to figure out what would work and what doesn't work with this exposure. Be mindful. If it's something that you can't use down the line, then don't do it. But if you're so believe that you want to make an art piece for this and put your name in the bucket, do it. Encourage. I put my drawing in there. I had fun with it. Longtime fan. I love Spawn. I had the first 100 issues and miniseries and all that stuff. Toys, like I said, 90s. That's what I was about. But what I'm seeing is that there's these posts where people are saying, don't do it. Well, don't do it. Don't tell that to the person. It should be your right. And you can't tell the person they shouldn't do it if it doesn't pertain to them. If you are an artist and you just want to have the exposure, and that's, as artists, we're using exposure, use it in your portfolio. Show them how you draw in your style. Spawn style is that awesome cross-hatching 90s early exaggerated muscle style. My stuff is more kiddie style, but I do bend the board when it comes to when it does come to exaggeration. So if my stuff is cartoony kiddie style, then I'm gonna go ahead and incorporate a little bit of that, and it's on my Instagram page. Another plug, just, you know, you're just having fun with that. But I saw somebody write or put the efforts into their artwork where right away they just said, fuck you, pay me. And that's cool. Hey, that's the Goodfellas line. That's that podcast where this guy talked about in his graphic design company. I don't know his real name, but his name is Mike for the Win. Shout out to that guy because he explains, fuck you, pay me, as you should be paid, as you should. And of course, my favorite line was from the Method Man and Redman collaborative album, the Blackout album, and they say, fuck you, pay me like Jay-Z. Hilarious. That's as far as I guess I'm going with my bad words, but probably not. But in that sense, this person who I don't know, and I'm not looking to drop names or whatever, but seriously, and again, more power to them because they're an artist and they should put it out there. But don't try to tell the next person who doesn't have that experience not try. But his thing was, fuck you, pay me. Nothing in the contest mentioned that they weren't going to get paid. And even if you didn't get paid, you can't think of a way to benefit for that. And this tool, and I'm talking about a tool, not only this guy being a tool, but the tool that you use to talk on a phone, a smartphone, you're telling me you can't use that as to benefit what you got. Hypothetically, if this person won and was not given money, but got to print out their artwork on a book, you should be able to flip. You should be, what I mean by flip, for you guys that don't know the word flip, you could be able to use this in your portfolio. You could use this on your website. You could build this on your audience to grow if you're not getting paid. Hope I'm keeping this all together because this is just very exciting talking about it. It's not that I'm pissed. It's just really hilarious how people use the social media and they get people behind them that back them and they don't know how this stuff works. So if homeboy who did do that piece that said fuck you, pay me, and he did that and they just use his picture and that was that, he gets exposure. He's getting exposure right now by saying it, by talking about it, because he's getting people to do that. It's not going to affect McFarlane. Why? Because he's going to still create his content. And if you ever listen to how he talks, besides his hilarious, his words, what he brings up, it is a thing that, you should have the mindset of how to push your own brand. If you are a content creator, a comic creator, a creator at that, you should have your own characters. You should. If you're a musician, you should have your own things to write about. If you're influenced and being a cover band, beautiful, but you still should have your own lyrics and words and stuff like that. It's not a disrespect. It's a thing that if you're creating, create, but don't be mad if nobody's gonna like your work, but your content and your words sound like so and so. A couple of the people I saw with their contest literally copied actual artwork from existing creators and they wrote it off as theirs, and you can literally put the picture above the other picture and they're pose for pose. And the thing that I crack up laughing at is, one, they are so believed that they created something new. And the other thing is these followers, these guys coming in there, they're telling me, oh my God, this is so original. But I bite my tongue because it's like, oh my God, you don't see that you just ripped off another artist. That's for another podcast. And that's just crazy. But for the exposure thing, it's just really weird. So I don't want to give too much onto the cover thing, but I think it's cool. We haven't really seen much people doing contests like that, or my experience seeing that. But if there are, be mindful. Even if you don't get you don't win, your work still gets shown, especially if you're using hashtags. Hashtags is, how things work as well too, to get your name on there. So Homeboy does have people looking at it, and that's great marketing. So bravo. So cool on that. But I guess this is the part where I'm going to be talking about people like already in the biz are doing it, but they're like telling people like, oh, I wouldn't do that. And some of these guys, when I look at their posts and when they said that, I remember back in the 90s and 2000s how they came about, and we didn't use the internet. We didn't use forums and stuff like that. How did you get in there? How did you break in? How do you do that? In this day and age, people need to post material to put their stuff out there, and rather be fan art or whatever. So even if you're doing fan art in a Wally Wonka world, we all will love to get paid for our fan art. And the way we do get paid through fan art is through art shows, comic shows, and all that stuff, because people ask for their favorite character and then drawn in their style. So that's that. But this whole thing about exposure and this thing about telling you, pay me, you didn't even win. You didn't even win the contest yet, but you want that. So bravo, because you got people to dial into what you said, but that's wrong. You should be able to know, first and foremost, what are you going to get into? And when you get in there, you should know what you're going to get. Example, I've done interior pages for people. I've done covers for people. I've done pinups for people. Some paid, beautiful. Some haven't. There have been times where if I got people to participate in pinups, I didn't have the funds for it, but I would give books in return as a way to they could sell. And the same way happens with me. The ones that I've never got paid for, I knew how to use it to my benefit and for exposure. One of my favorites is I was given a stack of books, and the way it went was I wasn't able to get paid for it, and I knew from the jump that I wasn't. So I was excited. I was just excited to be participating in a book. So with that being said, I did these pages, and I was given a stack of comic books as comps in return, and that's great. And the way it went down was I was pulled aside and said, "Hey, I'm going to give you these." And this is by my one of my cool, awesome artist pals. Gave it to me. Say, "Hey, do you know what to do with this?" And I was laughing because I felt like I was dealing. And if you guys don't know what dealing is, you're like, am I doing drug dealing? No, you're given a stack, and this is for you guys that are starting off, and you're given free comps for your books. What you do is you're given the book, you go to another spot, so you're giving them exposure to another facility, which would be a shop or a comic shop. You add a drawing in there, and sometimes shops will pay out, and sometimes will do what is the word I'm looking for? You come back and you sell a couple of books, and that's how you get paid. But the shops that pay right away, shout out to you guys, because we all need money. But if you have to drop stuff off, consignment, there you go, then you come back and you pick up the thing. But if you want something to stand out, you need to add a sketch. We're using this word more so lately. Remarks, add a remark to the drawing, to the picture, something just so you could stand out to the next person. And these are those things that you should do if you're trying to use your platform, if you can't get paid, but use it for exposure. Now we have the web, of course, with eBay and online stores and all that stuff. And you're given these books as a way of payment. You could then flip it because it's in your store. I get excited of laughing at when I see people that don't see what their potentials are, because it's inside of a box, and they only think they're only capable of this, what they're given, and they think that the big cats are just like keeping it for themselves. If they are, probably so. True that, true. But you as the individual that sees exposure as bad, you have to think of yourself bigger. How can I benefit this? If you don't want to do it, more power to you. But if you have that, learn to work with it. Add a sticker to it. Add a signing. Do a signing. Bring your other books and say, this is what was free. I want you to buy my other stuff. There should be more to just thinking you're being screwed over. And I'm not talking about taking on gigs, jobs that if you know it's going to take up a majority of your time and a majority of things that require your mental and personal health, know your limits and say, hey, I can't do that. But don't look at the short run, look at the long run. Look at what will benefit down the line. If it's free down the line, say, hey, I did that. I know my hours, how I work. Nah, I got to get paid for that. And that's how you grow. And I seen a couple of the creators that they jumped in saying like, then don't do it then. Back in the day when they were starting off, you had to submit samples. If you submit this art piece, it's basically showing your style of net. If it might not win you that cover, but you might have an independent person, or my favorite, crowdfunding, that people might say, hey, I need that for a cover because I think that will stand out. So I hope, and I'm saying this in a positive way, I hope dude that wrote the fuck you pay me, I hope he gets gigs out of that. Why? Because he's using his platform for that and as exposure. So good on him. Good. But I think there's this weird thing of using the word exposure and right away everybody's just like putting their head down. I wrote down in my notes where I was listing off things for exposure. One of the things that I did during the quarantine and lockdown time, and this was kind of like in the mid time of that world of the Bitcoin NFT, that non-fungible token, people were asking for stock art, just the simplest things. And if you guys aren't aware of that, they were asking for like that ape character, and there were people all around the states asking, hey, can you draw this simple drawing? And they would either, in my case, I got asked twice. I got asked if I could draw it. I said, yeah, I'm capable of. And they asked, would you rather have Bitcoin or we can pay you? And I wasn't 100% understanding that end of the Bitcoin thing, but I just told them, I was like, I'd rather have the cash. And this is that part of the exposure. I drew their characters and I got paid for it, not in Bitcoin, but I got paid in cash. And I guess in their visual hindsight was they're going to make millions. And fast forward now, for whatever it is, NFTs aren't a thing, but people poo-pooed it right away. And then also using the words, the whole lockdown and quarantine, we were literally at home. So how do you hustle? If you can't go outside or if you can't make certain things, would you tell a person not to do that? And one of the things that I saw, and I'm laughing at, and I'm putting this up there with this Spawn cover guy, I saw a lot of people put effort into making artwork saying no NFT. Hey, that's cool. But if you don't have any other way of making income, and somebody, say in my example, from California or in Germany asked me to draw a Doberman for this amount of money, and they forward you the payment and you did the job, are you not going to do it? So my gamble and my exposure was, after I did it, I got paid. I put my Alley Cat character theme over his example, and I just made stickers out of it, and I still pocket it, and I still was able to go forward with that. People, this world we are in, and in general, even if it isn't social media, everybody all breathe the same air in a room, and that person needs to step out and be in another room and try different hustles and try things for exposure. If it didn't work for those 4 guys and girls, and you got to open your eyes and look and say, man, I got to try something else. And it just didn't work. So NFT person, thank you, because I was able to, pay some bills and get stuff done. And around that same time, that's when I had lost my mom. So how was I supposed to work and also help care for her? How? While people are telling you, don't use NFTs. I said, I don't get it. But if a person's going to use PayPal or whatever to pay you, how are you supposed to live? And you can't leave out the house. How are you supposed to do that? So guy asked for 5 drawings. He asked for what was my budget, or I asked him what was his budget. And I was like, cool. I knocked it out, got it done. And I didn't go online and I didn't tell people. I didn't have to argue and tell people, well, I got paid from it. No, just use what you can for your exposure. Sometimes you will get paid, sometimes you won't. But how do you go and use this exposure? So I just feel like when we're doing growing our brand as creators, how do you go forward? Sometimes things work, sometimes you don't. And that's part of it. You're going to take 2 steps back, go 3 steps forward, or 4 back. Now I'm sounding like a Paula Abdul song. And that damn dancing cat, cool cat, whatever, or MC cat, I forgot. But I just wanted to talk about that for today's for this segment of a podcast about exposure. Yes, you should be paid. And if you can't get paid, and if you could see a benefit for you, then go with it. If it works, but don't go try to be a person that right away is gonna poo-poo on something and you have no clue about. And we rather have those likes instead of just getting the bag, getting paid. And it's really interesting. It's really wild how people can just, go with that. And those people that are already in the industry and sees that in this day and age, now this platform with social media and having your own channel and having your own store or shop, like, yo, you guys gotta, I'm not saying that to talk about your mistakes, but a lot of you guys come out here and say like, well, I wouldn't do that. But hey, you already broke in and made it into those crews and groups and disbanded. And now you have a platform because of that. So give the new people a leeway and tell them like, hey, maybe it won't work for you. And maybe it will, but don't right away cut people off and tell people, just don't do it. Have a little bit more understanding of how is this exposure going to work? Again, your artwork and style, if you're drawing it and you're doing it, just, we're always wanting to sharpen our blade to be creating. And I had fun with my art piece. Will it get picked? I don't think so, but I'm just being me. I'm just saying, but I had fun with it. And you never know, but don't do that towards the next person to tell them right away, because you don't know how it works for them, or you don't know what their situation is. If you got a family and you got to put food down and you got to have something for the house, maybe that exposure thing won't work out for you. Maybe if you don't have that extra income, or if you have a job or whatever and it's just to practice, do that. Also, when people do tryouts for writing and artwork, don't they have to draw and make stuff? So doesn't that part of that process? I just think people need to be more understanding in this whole word with exposure. Try to have a self thinking for yourself than asking social media. It's really weird when people ask, oh, do you guys think I should? I don't want it. I don't want my friends on social media who don't make art for a living give me like advice, because they don't understand. It's beautiful when they support, that's great, but if I'm asking about pricing and stuff like that, I can't go onto my Facebook and expect so and so's uncle or aunt to give me advice, because they don't know. Why? Because they don't get it. And I have family like that. I can't ask my family how do I price a logo. They don't know how that works. Have a little bit more understanding. Do your research and see what will benefit and what doesn't. Again, if it's coming off of as a diss, it's more of trying to get you to be a better understanding how exposure works for you when you don't get paid. Take the product, add some zazz to it, put a sticker in there, do something, give it so that when a person buys it, they're saying, oh, wow, Little Art did the cover for this, and look, he gave me a little bit extra. It always goes a little bit more when you give extra, instead of just saying, this is what I did, now pay me. It doesn't work that way. And a lot of people want the payment now. Again, that's cool, but in the long run, if you got that and you got the cover, but you didn't get paid, and you went ahead and you did that, you're gonna be mentioned as the guy or girl who did the cover, and you could use that for other gigs. But everybody's right away jumping on this post of this person saying, yeah, I agree with you, I should be paid right away. Well, it doesn't work that way. It's very surreal. So I just wanted to do this post. We're in one of those weekends here in the Midwest where it's really like cold, like 0 below, and I just thought it would be perfect to do that. I just want to give a shout outs to everybody that are making stuff. I hope everyone has an awesome 2024. I hope that it's a good mental and physical healthy year. Let's be more creative. Let's be more supportive. Let's step out of the box of being creative and see their value. See your value for what it is. Again, I get it. We gotta pay bills, and that's cool, and that's true. But maybe things can benefit. So don't just think of yourself as just one person. Maybe you could benefit in other ways. If your cover wasn't fit for a comic, maybe it'd be great on a label. Maybe it'd be great on a sticker. Think of your brand outside. Try to be more than what you put yourself in a box to. And I just want that as my final of talking about that. I hope you guys are good. I hope for beautiful things. I got to get back into doing more podcasts. I have a list of things that I want to talk about, but today was all about exposure. I appreciate you guys. I am a Little Art. I make content for like doing graphic design. I do graphic art, logo branding. I also work on comics. I'm wrapping up Power Punch Bootcamp 2. That one I'm very excited about because I'm at the end of the lapse of seeing that being completed. So when I have more to share on that, I will. I have my Alley Cat. Alley Cat is manifesting in style as far as his look, showing up in art books, shirts. He's on walls around Chicago. It's pretty cool. I look forward to doing more of that. Just looking to brand and do more, as you should too. So when you hear exposure, just don't think of it as if it's a negative in that sense, but try to see how can you benefit more out of it and not just in one perspective. So I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank you guys that are on here. I want to thank everyone that messages me back feedback. Certain things that people come back and tell me is like, oh, I needed to hear that, or hey, that's cool. Well, let's do more of this. So I'm a Little Art. I'm on Instagram. I'm building my YouTube channel. I'm on X or Twitter, whatever it's called. I'm on there, and I'm on Whatnot. So keep growing, keep creating content, and keep going forward. And if you in a room with 4 other people saying the same exact thing, think about it. Maybe your ideas is going to be different from this. Trust your intuition. Trust your judgment. Sometimes it won't work, sometimes it will. But you have to think about it. Is this going to benefit me? If it didn't benefit those 4 other people, are you going to go ahead and put your stuff up there? Then don't do it. But if your name comes across on this platform to say, hey, this guy didn't win, but he showed up there, use that. Tell people, hey, at least I showed up in the drawing. And if it didn't take anything out of your time of work or food out of your table for you or your children, then it's not worth it. So I'm going to end this and say thanks, guys. Have a good one, all right? Peace out. Take care. Bye for the next one. Peace.